Butterflies return someday.
Welcome to We Survive Abuse, the podcast where courage meets healing and resilience meets personal revolution. Whether you're seeking connection, inspiration, or simply a moment of understanding, join us as we explore resilience and recovery together. Remember, no matter how dark the path, you are never alone. I'm your host, Tanya G.J. Prince. Let's go together. As a woman, I stand up for myself in all circumstances. Although there are many people who stand up for me, I am my main advocate. I treat myself with respect because I am worth fighting for. The more assertive I am, the more others respect me because I speak calmly with others. My confident tone reflects that I am a strong, self-assured individual. Life's challenges, they come and they go, but my self-confidence is consistent. My assertiveness springs from my steadfast self-worth. I can easily recall many past successes when I need a boost. Each day, I build stronger relationships with those I love because of my assertive nature. Today, I choose to love myself as much as I love others. I give myself permission to disagree with others in a respectful way. I speak up when others cross the line because I am committed to being my own advocate. And if you just want to stop right there, that's cool. I hope you got something helpful and a blessing out of that. But for those who want to continue going on, we're going to talk about the importance of standing up for yourself and making sure that you're heard and seen. Now, I remember a clip, you might remember it on The View, where I think there was a movie being promoted, and Alfred Woodard, the great Alfred Woodard, was on the panel, and she was asked if it was important to be for women, particularly black women, to be seen, or is it more important that they be heard? And Alfred Woodard said both. And I thought back on that when I think back on music and the history of it, and Big Mama Thornton. Ha! And Big Mama Thornton was one of the, she was caught up during that time. Storekeepers and the like did not necessarily want those albums with the covers of these beautiful, black folk. What they did was they would put either some picture of a sunset, or like very generic picture of a sunset, very generic picture of a sunset, or a white person on the cover, or white people looking like they're having a great time on those covers. And this is a black artist. They're hard work. They've written it. They've recorded it. They've done all the things, moved from town, went wherever they had to go with their one little suitcase, struggled, all that, with nothing but their gift and maybe an instrument, and paid for their little rooming house. And that's what you did, And in other cases, their music was remade totally. It was remade by white artists. And so the song was similar, but it was made by white artists. People would get to a performance and have no idea that the artist that they had been listening to was a black artist. Because how would you know that? There's, think for the younger folk, think pre-social media, think pre-internet. We had encyclopedias, card catalogs, things like that. But if people decide that they don't want you seen, they don't want you seen. They were erased. And Big Mama Thornton was a part of that, as were artists like Fats Domino, the Isley Brothers, some of the visual marketing for Sam Cooke, Muddy Waters, Billie Holiday, Bessie Smith. And I know that there are some of my senior women who might be listening to this saying, all of them, baby, not just some, all of them. They were erased, and they weren't allowed to be shown in their opulence and elegance and or anything like that. So back to Big Mama Thornton, when we talk about erasure, these are and people say, well, the older women, they are busybodies or whatever. It's because we've lived through this, we've seen this. We know what this is, we know what this does. We know that when people want to erase you, it doesn't take a science fiction movie like you see on TV for them to do the whole erasure, you don't exist, or it was a series I used to watch. Burn Notice, I think. It doesn't even take that for people to erase you. So that when we talk about women being able to speak for our own health, for our own safety, for our own representation, for our own dignity, for our own safe spaces. That in mind, one of the wonderful things about Big Mama Thornton, number one, she was born in Alabama. She hails from the Deep South, y'all. And her name, her given name was Willie Mae Thornton. Willie Mae Thornton. And of course, they called her Big Mama. Her physical presence, as if you look her up, she was a sizable woman. Beautiful. And she had this powerful voice and there was strength in that voice. And keep in mind, this is during a time where we definitely appreciate some of the sweeter singing songs about, singing about your man and the day is, and singing about the day, sugar in the morning, that type of thing. We appreciate those songs. We love those songs. But recognizing that women are multifaceted. We recognize that sometimes, what Big Mama Thornton and her style of singing, it speaks to some ways that we may wake up feeling in the morning, right? So another thing about Big Mama Thornton, by the way, she was the first to record the song Hound Dog, which is a hit that Elvis Presley later became famous for. She was the first. She also wrote 20 blues songs throughout her career. Another thing about Miss Thornton is when you look her up, you'll see she, dressed more what they characterized as men's clothing, that. So she challenged the norms, which was a big deal. It was during this same time that women who challenged the norms in that way were women who were thought to not be the sugary, sweet, whatever, dressing in, the garments of the time in the West. I'm speaking in the West. Speaking of the garments of the time, and I love fashion, but women who weren't into that particular style of dress, the dresses, the prettiness, the Jackie Onassis style, who weren't into the big hats, like in the black church or that type of thing, were shamed, were ridiculed, and it could be a potential means for you to be sent away for treatment. I.e., some women, lobotomy, which was a treatment, which folks thought was a viable treatment at the time for depression or rebelliousness. It was even advertised that way for depression and rebelliousness. Can you believe it? Lobotomy, or just put away in an asylum or mental health place, or home where there was mental health. And I can't even call it treatment, because if someone can point me to someone who felt like they were that they got treatment, I would be open to listening to that. But that's not what we're hearing. It was abuse. So I think that the lesson that should come forth from that is that women must be seen and must be heard just as we are. Big Mama Thornton, opened the door for some of the people that speak to women in such a deep way. Janis Joplin, when she recorded one of her songs, Ball and Chain, it helped to bring some attention to, and that's what she meant. And so, I want a biopic, and I want it done well. But I also want us to realize that in this time, this is us, and we have to, as women, make sure that when we're working on, femicide and attacks in the street against women, and on subways and that type of thing, it is up to us to make sure that women's voices are heard, that people understand, that people see us, that people hear us. And that we speak for ourselves. We speak for ourselves because we know that we are worthy of speaking for. Because we know that we are valuable. We know that we are unique. We know that we are worthy. Women should be represented. Women should be represented and see and be able to look at something and see what women really look like, what we look like, what we age like, what it looks like when we put on 10 additional pounds or more, or when we lose weight because we're ill, or when we're under stress. You may think that some of the women, whether they're older, whether they're younger, are being hateful. What is hateful? Is erasure and silencing. Hate is erasure and silencing, because we all have to share this planet together. And particularly when you are putting more burden on women to fix social problems, and doing that, saying, hey, we'll fix this social issue, whatever it is. And what we'll do is we'll just silence the women. We'll just erase them. We'll just keep them quiet. As was done with when black music was huge, was just coming to be huge, and there was no way to control the black music. No way. The music was fantastic. So you can't shut it down. The other people even from across, in Britain and other places, they wanted the music. You can't shut it down. So what do? You try to put a cap on it by silencing it and erasing it like it never happened, like was attempted to be done with Janet Jackson. When all of a sudden for years, you didn't hear her music as much on radio. You didn't see her. You didn't see her videos. You didn't, the attempt was at erasure because someone was furious with her. Erasure. So when women are fighting, women are not fighting are not fighting with hate. We're fighting the hate. We're fighting the hate. Because going back to the affirmation, today I choose to love myself as much as I love others. I give myself permission to disagree with others in a respectful way, or whatever needs to happen. I speak up when others cross the line because I am committed to being my own advocate. I stand up for myself in all circumstances. I treat myself with respect because I am worth fighting for. I am worth fighting for. Life's challenges may come and life's challenges may go, but my self-confidence is consistent. My assertiveness springs from my steadfast self-worth. I stand up for myself in all circumstances because I'm worth it. I am worth it. Just me by myself. And finally, I absolutely believe in women speaking and representing ourselves. We are only here for a moment. Big Mama Thornton died in obscurity on July 25th, 1984. But while she was here, you heard her. You knew who she was. You heard her. And many of us can, we can go and we can continue to listen to her, to her passion, her voice. And we can see her. And if you look at her, she's such a beautiful woman. Big, beautiful woman with a, that round, pretty face. And that's priceless. So I noticed she struggled to be heard. She struggled against intentional erasure. She struggled against intentional silencing. Systemic, intentional. Not a few little people here and there. Like this was organized. She struggled mightily against that. But in the end, though, she died without certain resources that are necessary to this life. This mighty woman. I could almost hear her saying, y'all gonna know I was here. Y'all gonna know I was here. And what I thought. So I encourage us all to, as women, people will say, people will do whatever to erase us, but fight against that, and do what you can while we are here. All right, you guys, go out there and be dynamic, be multifaceted, be vocal, be you, be great. Thanks for listening. This is Tanya G.J. Prince. Thanks for listening. Y'all be great.